Hello and welcome to the first Oculate Devlog. Oculate is a story-based bullet hell game that I've been working on, and the gameplay is mainly split up into boss fights and then some small story segments. And overall the game is kind of just a small project that I've been working on, and it's not intended to be anything very big. I've already made most of the main mechanics for the game, so right now I'm working mostly on level design and art for all the areas, so that's kind of what you'll see in future updates. Because this is the first devlog, there isn't really any progress for me to show off or any updates, so I'm just going to go through all the different mechanics in the game to kind of get you more familiar with the gameplay and the different mechanics. So the first mechanic I'll explain is the phase ability, and this is an ability that makes the player kind of look like a shadow, kind of an intangible form, and this allows you to be invulnerable to bullets for a few seconds, and it doesn't boost your speed or anything, it just makes you invulnerable. So this is just used as kind of like a dodge or a get out of jail free card, and it passively recharges as long as you're moving, so it's something that you'll be constantly using, but it just kind of has a small impact on the gameplay. The second ability I'll explain is the graze ability, and so this is actually tied to the other two abilities that I'll explain, but essentially when you're holding down a button and you're near a bullet, it lets you graze by the bullet and it creates those pink sparks that you can see. And so basically what that does is it rewards you if you're getting really close to bullets, and when you're creating those sparks, it's actually charging that pink bar at the bottom left, and so that gives you the ability to use the other two abilities I'll explain. And so it's kind of like a charge that you're using, and it's rewarding you for kind of taking more risks and getting closer to bullets. Okay, so the next ability is tied into the graze ability, and it actually consumes some of the charge that you're building up when you're using the graze ability. And so this is just a normal teleport, and it's just kind of what you would expect from a video game teleport. It just teleports you in a single direction, and you're invulnerable afterwards for a little bit, so it's just kind of a high impact kind of movement option for you, and it's a reward for using the graze, so it'll let you do things pretty quickly and do more high level gameplay things. The final ability that I'll talk about is the parry ability, and so this uses a charge just like the teleport, and this is actually how you progress the fights. So when you press a button, you'll get struck with lightning, and a few seconds after you've been struck with lightning, you'll be highlighted in pink, and during the state that you're in, if you collide with a bullet that's highlighted in pink, which means that it's parryable, you'll be able to create this projectile from the bullet, and you're basically like parrying the bullet back to the enemy, and this will deal damage to the enemy, and it'll kind of progress the fight. And so if you do that enough times and go through all the phases of the enemy, then you'll eventually beat them and continue. The main centerpiece for the game world in Oculate is this church that's based on this religion that involves eye demons. And so these eye demons are kind of the main enemy that you'll fight, but they'll be in kind of different forms or different variations. And I don't want to show too much of what I'm working on right now for like the main bosses, but they're all kind of related to this evil eye demon dimension kind of thing. And so all of this is kind of based on, it's kind of loosely based on different artistic themes that I kind of find interesting, like Gothic architecture and old retro games that kind of focus on like demons and things like that. So that's kind of the main primary points for the game and like the style that you'll see. Like I said before, Oculate is a story game, so there's going to be some parts of the gameplay that are more story focused, and they'll be pretty short and in between more significant gameplay portions, but I don't really have anything to show for that right now because the story is kind of changing as I develop the encounters, but I intend to have the story be a central part of the game experience. So that'll be in more future devlogs as I kind of develop the world building. And so you can expect a devlog every month or so, maybe every 2 months. It just depends on how much I'm able to get done and if my development is kind of worthy of a video, because sometimes work is just not as conducive to an entertaining video, and it's more of just like things that I need to work on inside the code of the game. But that's pretty much all for now, and yeah, just stay tuned if you're interested, and yeah, just tell me what you think in the comments.